Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came bottling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah! We gut it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
All right, everyone. It's Cody Johnson. Thin Blue Line Podcast is going to be podcast 66. So we had the red coat on last time, and now we got to have the redneck on. Jesse has had a very good season for the limited amount of days that you've been out. And it's kind of been a weird season because if you guys listen to podcasts, would have been like 61, 62, somewhere in there. You would have saw that Jesse was in Wisconsin, but yet I'm posting this in Illinois, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Jesse, you take it over for now and break down your season, man.
So yeah, as Cody was saying, the family and I moved up to Wisconsin this summer. I had a new job opportunity up here. But that meant, leaving or getting further away from the private land we have access to in Illinois, but it opened up a whole new world of Wisconsin hunting for me, which did not quite go as planned this year. So obviously moving up in the summer, I did not have a lot of opportunity with the move and trying to get settled up here to go knock on doors or scout or get access to any private land. Nice thing is that Wisconsin has so many opportunities for public land. I ended up finding something they called public access land, which was like 20 minutes from where I'm at now. So where that's kind of different, and I don't know if Illinois has a program this way or not, but essentially public access is private landowners who are essentially just farmers or people who don't seclude people from hunting on it, open up their land to the state of Wisconsin for people to come out and hunt on. And then I think they get a tax break.
Yeah.
And so does Illinois have anything like that?
Yeah, I forget what they call it. They have a name for it too. And I've seen them DNR promote it and stuff before, and I don't know what it's called. But I do know it does exist. I don't know anybody who does it. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people at this little bit of public access in Wisconsin. Yeah, and so I went out the first day because it opened. Archery season opened up here September 15th, and so I was like, man, I'm gonna go out. It's gonna be great. Kids had a soccer game that morning, so I'll go hunt the afternoon. New chances for me to try climber. I got a year ago. I've never stepped foot on this land once. Didn't have the time to go scout it. Had some aerial photos of it. Had some ideas of where to set up on what turned out to be a bean field. So yeah, I'm really giddy. I'm excited. It's like 80 degrees out. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going out. I get out before anybody else down in Illinois. So yeah, I'm going to go out. There was at least one other person out there deer hunting when I got there. I didn't see him until later that day. But then as I was getting ready to go out, there was a couple people coming back out from squirrel hunting. They said they'd noticed the deer hunter kind of gave me his location and said they'd let us deer hunters have it for the day, which I was thankful for. So have my climber, have my backpack hooked up to my climber. It's pretty heavy. Walking out with my bow, kind of scouting this new property. I get out there and I'm just kind of looking. I do see sign of deer tracks, things like that. Cross over this tree line and I'm looking, oh, that looks like a nice corner to set up in. Perfectly fine. And I'm walking around and there's not a single straight tree to put this timer in. And the one thing about public access is you can't change the environment, right?
Yep.
So there's a couple of trees off of 10, 15 yards back that were kind of straighter that would have been decent for a climber set up. But I have all these branches in the way. There's no shooting lanes.
Yep.
I can't trim them. I can't break them. I can't do anything that you can't change the environment, which I get. So for the first half hour, I'm walking around this kind of corner of this land property and I'm like, there is not a single tree for me to do this. I spot one. I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a go. And so I'm trying to climb up in this thing. I get to where the base of climbers, chest high, right? Just kind of secure. And I just hop up into it, which I know that's not what you're supposed to do with the climber, things like that. But this is after trying to do the normal method for a while. And then I'm able to move it up twice. And then it's just such a bend in the tree that like I'm going to fall right out. It's not sitting right. So I'm like, well, this is fun. This is awesome. And after 45 minutes of battling that, sweating bullets, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm over it. And so I set the climber down and I walked past this big, like you tell, they cleared some trees and this big log pile hanging out in the middle of this thing, kind of on the edge of the field still. It's like, screw it. I'm going to just sit up here. I'm going to climb up there and just sit and
see what happens.
Comes out. I get up there and like I'm on top of this wood pile. Like anything's going to see me from any amount away. I'm like, this is not good. This is not where I want to be. Luckily, I got out there super early, right? So I got out there about noon. This is probably about 1:15 after trying to do all this work and find the spot. I'm like, oh, this is not going well. I keep looking on the edge of the property. I'm like, hey, that looks like some straight trees over there. I'll go give that a go. Haul all my crap back and get over there. And the trees are too thin. Like they're just little twigs essentially coming up. And I didn't notice the blind quite yet. So I was like, okay, I'm defeated at this point in time. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back to where I saw deer tracks. I'm literally just going to set my climber down because I didn't even bring a chair with me. Like that's going to be in a stand.
Yeah.
And I'm going to set that on the ground. I'm just going to sit and give it a go. So I'm sitting there. I'm on my climber. I'm like, all right, here it is. This is the plan. This is what we're doing. 10 minutes goes by. I'm pumped. Do a little filming, do a little shooting, post a little bit to social. Like, hey, first one out. Here we go. It's gonna be a good set.
Yep.
And I start kind of getting into my pockets, making sure I got everything. I can't find my car keys. Cannot find my car keys. Dump my bag. I mean, I literally pick my bag upside down and go on the pockets. Nothing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Because I literally just stomped and like walked around for half an hour looking for a tree. Right. And then another half hour setting up in this one spot or trying to. I mean, at any point in time, my keys could have fallen out. So I leave my climber there. At this point in time, there's another guy walking out to go hunt. And I walk up to him and say, hey, man, just so you know, I'm going to be making a lot of noise because I got to go find my car keys. It's literally the only key I have for my car, too. I don't know spare, nothing like that. He goes, oh, good luck. I hope you find it. He goes, I'll be over there, so I'll be out of your way. You won't scare anything from me. So, okay, good. Whatever. I walk around this whole property again. That's when I noticed the other deer hunter in a blind in the opposite corner I was at. But I'm still I'm walking around looking for keys where I'm probably just kicking everything up, right?
Yep.
Spooking everything away. Finally, I got to go back to the car. Look, I haul my stuff up. And I said, if I go back to the car, I don't find it, I'm going to have to call my wife. She's going to come get me.
She's going to kill you.
Yeah. Have my car towed. Figure that whole process out.
Yep.
Walking up, set the climber down behind the car, start walking around the car a little bit. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I found my keys on the side of the road. And to be honest, I had it in my mind that said, once I get back to that car, I'm done. I'm going to go home. This has not been a good experience for me.
Yep.
I'm just, I found the keys, put my climber in. I was going to put my bow in. I said, fuck it. I'm here. I'm going to go back out. Went back out, stood underneath the tree for 2 hours, and then it just starts downpouring. And then lightning strikes really close. I said, I'm out. I'm done. This is the sign to go.
Yeah.
And that's when I
Yeah.
saw the other guy pack up. We got to our cars at the same time, and I could tell he was a little irritated. I said, "Look, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't see it first, but I lost my car keys when I was out there, so I'm not usually one to stomp around while hunting, but I had to today."
Yep.
You could tell he's a little irritated, but he said, "Oh yeah, you're fine, you're fine."
Yep.
But that was my first hunt of the year. I was like, if this is how this is going to go all year, not going to be good.
Yep.
So, then I went out again. I think it was the next day.
I think so.
At that time, I took Marshall and Walter out. I took my 6-year-old and then my 3-year-old at the time out. Well, I guess it would be 5 and 3-year-old. Which positive out of that was I got a new blind out of it. Because I told my wife, I said, the only way to hunt this, you got to sit in a pop-up blind. You got to have that.
Yep.
And, you could also keep the boys safe from anybody else out there, right? You're in that blind. But it's just the way it's going to be more comfortable for everybody.
Yep.
So I got a new blind out of the deal. And that one, it was just fun. We didn't walk too far into it, set up, and then just had a lot of donuts and lots of candy. And the coolest part of that part was it was a little windy, and a branch was hitting the back of the blind and making noise, and their eyes go, shh, shh. It's a deer back there. I was like, well, open the window, give it a look. So they're opening the window really slow, and they're like, look, it's just a stick. It's just a stick. I was like, yeah, it's just a stick. But so we left early. We left before light. But on our way out, where the guy was set up, because he was back out there in that corner, we saw probably 3 does working their way to him. So I was like super excited. Hopefully he gets one. And yeah. So then a couple weeks later, I went out to the same spot with my uncle-in-law. This time I set up. I got there like at 4 a.m. just to beat everybody else there, right? Because I knew the spot I wanted to be in, which was where that guy was, where I saw the deer. And I just claimed the spot. Looking back, it was torrential downpour from 4 a.m. to about 9 a.m. Nobody else was going to be out. Like, I was safe. I could have taken my time. So I'm setting up, and I'm waiting for my uncle-in-law to text me, right? Dropped to my pinch home we're at, shared the map with him. Should be super easy to get out there. And he's like, I'm here. And I keep waiting for him to come up across where I'm at, and he's lost. he's walking around this public access land, and he finally comes back, dropped my pin. He goes, yeah, dude, I got so turned around out there. And he goes, I ended up falling in this ditch full of water, and all he has is just like non-waterproof boots. Just like,
I didn't know any about this.
Yeah.
This is,
yes. And so he's like literally soaked probably from middle thigh down of just water. He goes, I was just hanging on to this little tree. He goes, luckily I had the smart just to hang on a little bit before I hopped in. He's all around this big crossbow case that has everything. So he was a trooper, because I was sitting all day, and this was probably early October. But again, as you said, I have limited time to go out. I was going to make the most of it. We did see one deer that morning. It popped out. So how this property is set up is like, here's the main road where you can walk in. And when you're walking in, it's just fields. And it just happened to be bean fields this year. But then there's more access to some woods, right? And there's a pond somewhere back in these woods that you could, realistically, you could set around that too as a water source. Again, not being out there before, I kind of stayed close. That way I knew how to get back out, and not wanting to go in and mess anybody else up if they were already out there. So my plan for this upcoming year is, if I don't get access somehow to private land, is to go out and maybe scout that more, walk around out there and see what it's like back there. I can find a straight tree to take my time around, and that'd be perfect. Anyway, this deer popped out. I don't know, 50, 60 yards out of those woods. And it was running. It never stopped. Nothing. And I don't know. We didn't see anything chasing it. I don't know what spooked it, but it just took off.
Yeah, hard saying.
Ran the complete opposite direction of us. But that was in the morning, so it kind of gives you hope.
Yeah.
So he goes back home around 11, gets changed, and he comes back out. And the rest of the time was just kind of shooting the shit with him, which was really fun. And he had good internet service, so we kind of watched the Badger versus Iowa game there for a while.
There you go.
We were just sitting in the barn on mute. So yeah, and then that wrapped up my Wisconsin hunting. Because after that it was busy weekends, and then Illinois.
Yeah. So I'll break this down for people real quick. So we weren't for sure, to be honest, yet if Jesse was going to hunt Illinois or not, because when he applied for his shotgun tags and bow tags, he was an Illinois resident. But then he got his Wisconsin job and he became a Wisconsin resident. So we had to figure out, like, I didn't know if he was legal or not. And I was honestly looking up the law. I was finding mixed things. I found, I found one where I thought, okay, no, this, I think you're illegal to do it. And then the other one, but there I found another statute that was like, it kind of questions that one. Well, luckily I have a game warden buddy, and reached out to him, and we were essentially told it's good, falls under good faith. You were a legal Illinois resident at the time you applied, so you're good to go. Your tags are valid for this year and this year only.
Right.
So from now on, you'll have to do the non-resident stuff. Which I don't know if anybody's ever looked up non-resident in Illinois. It ain't cheap.
It's pricey.
Yeah,
Very
but
pricey.
But anyways,
so I thought from the get-go, since I had the tags, I was a resident when I got them, that I was legal. I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm good for this year. It's my last year because obviously I can't apply for resident tags anymore because I'm not a resident. We're texting, Boom, and Ryan and I are texting like the Wednesday before I'm going down to Illinois for my bow hunt. I said, all right, here's the kind of wind. Here's the situation. Here's our trail cam photos that we have. What do you guys think? Where should I set up? What are your guys' opinions? And Boom goes, well, pay the out-of-state tag and come film me or something like that. I'm like, bullshit, I got tagged. What do you mean come film me? Like, I got a resident tag. Why do I got to go out? So he goes, no, you don't, buddy. It's illegal. So Wednesday night, I'm freaking out. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going this week. I don't know if I can go hunt, And then he texted back Thursday night and goes, all right, I talked to my my DNR buddy, and we're good.
Yep. Yeah, because I had be honest with you, I'd never looked it up. Never needed to, but my brother Colton, he's in a similar boat that Jesse was. He was an Illinois resident, got Illinois tags, but then he became an Iowa resident. And he was the one who told me, oh no, I'm pretty sure I can't. Which is a good thing. So when I figured it out for him, I contacted him. So like, oh heck yeah. So yeah.
Come on out, buddy.
Yeah. So he came back and he didn't have any luck though. But Jesse did have some luck, so I'll let him go.
Yes. Yeah. So that first weekend I went out bow hunting. I guess the only weekend I went out bow hunting down in our private land in Illinois. I did 3 12-hour days that week at work, which you guys know I'm an assistant principal. That's not unheard of for officers or dispatchers or people in law enforcement. And really, like, when it's not unheard of for principals to have 12-hour days either, but you're usually at home, just continue working. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, when I say 12 hours, in the building for 12 hours with parent-teacher conferences and some activity night we do with some kiddos. So I left Wisconsin probably Friday night, like at 8:30, 8:45, drove down to Mercer County, hung out, and went out Saturday to hunt. And I saw probably the most deer I've ever seen in sitting this year in general. And none of them really gave me a shot until the Sunday morning with my archery buddy. And it was really cool to see these deer. And one of them, I thought I was going to be able to grunt and rattle in. I used a little bit of RackGetter spray right before that too. I think literally I stood up. I did the RackGetters. It wasn't Hot to Trot. I think it was Climax maybe.
Yeah, probably.
sprayed that with the windows going, and then I sat down. I just like literally sat down, put it back in my bag, and I turned, and there was this deer just coming and looking at me. I was like, okay, let's go. It was probably a basket rack 8, and it wasn't anything to write home about, but still a really cool experience.
Well, you correct me if I'm wrong, but because you knew your time was limited, it was pretty much as brown as down. Yeah.
You get anything in front of me in range that I could shoot, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
We were joking with Ryan because we have this deer on camera called the unicorn. It's just literally like one spike like this. And so I sent a picture, I was texting the group about it. And Ryan sent it, he goes, is this it? I go, yeah. And then he texts me separately. He goes, oh, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I'm proud you passed that one up. I said, dude, I tried grunting that one back in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here for meat. I'm here to get something down. He just didn't give me a shot. Like, he just didn't happen.
Yeah, and I in the group I saw that. I thought you passed it too, because I remember, like I said to either Nate or Kyle when I saw him in person, I'm like, I can't believe Jesse passed that deer. And then it wasn't until you told me later on, like, oh, I wasn't going to pass it. Like, oh, you should have went with that.
Yeah, no, I was not. I was out for anything. I mean, that was my goal, was just to get some meat in the freezer. We were running low from venison. But yeah, that Saturday saw a lot of deer. Not necessarily, they were responding to the calls and stuff like that, and to scents, but no chasing. This was right?
The second weekend in November, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, so my morning hunt, I saw a lot of deer. Well, a lot of deer for me was probably like 4. You know what I mean? As you guys know, the land we're hunting in Aledo, in Mercer County, it's small, right? It's like 8 to 10 acres.
Yep.
So that's the most deer I've ever seen in one sit in the morning. And then met back up for lunch. Went out to my afternoon spot, which is the pipe stand, which is where I killed my doe last year. Super pumped, ready to go for it. I mean, as soon as I sat down, got settled, these 2 does come flying down the hill and just running, just absolutely going. So I'm like, okay, here we go. There's going to be a big boy coming at some point in time. Like, it's going to happen. Nothing came. No buck, nothing following it at all. Sitting there, I saw one more doe, I don't know, 50 yards behind me to the right, crossing over. And we're kind of thinking that there used to be a lake or a pond there, and you can kind of see the lead levee they had built. We're thinking that they're using that more now to move, to get from what we call the top of the uncharted. We call it uncharted because we haven't necessarily hunted that spot, to go to the rest of the property. And so that doe was taking that path. I sat until dark. I wasn't going to shoot, but I was just sitting. And I got down and I couldn't see. And then this doe just starts blowing at me. I mean, absolutely blowing at me, walking, had to be within 20 yards of me, and just going nuts. And so now I'm just standing there for like 10 minutes, frozen in the dark, like, shit.
Yeah, that's rough. I hate that.
I don't want to scare him out of this area, but I kind of want to get going too at the same time. So it blew. I didn't hear it run off or anything like that. You kind of heard it just walk away. But that was really cool because I knew I was super close to the deer, but the deer couldn't see me at the same time. It just knew something wasn't right. And that concluded my first archery hunt, which I had high hopes after that day because I was like, man, I saw
it's a good day.
all these deer. It was amazing. Went back to camp, talked strategy. I decided to go back to the stand we had. It is on the fence line of the property, but it's close to where I have my OGs stand up where I shot my first deer ever. There's been a lot of deer killed back there. It's the stand where Ryan shot his first deer ever. But the hard part about it was the wind wasn't necessarily right for deer coming from our property up to the other person's property. It'd be really good for anybody in the deer jumping the fence and coming over. But it would be like a small wedge. So here I am facing this way. I'd probably have 30 degrees of a triangle to work with. Because if
Mhm.
they were to get in front of me or just past me, they would catch my wind with how it was that day. But I just know that's where I've seen the most deer, so I've seen the most action. We had a trail camera up there, but I might have to send that one to get refurbished or something because batteries were good. I was not getting any photos sent to me, nothing like that. It's right now at Ryan's house. I haven't checked the SD card on it by any means.
Yeah.
But we're kind of going in blind back there.
Yeah.
So then that morning, sitting, and I think I saw a few deer before light. And then the 7-pointer ended up looking over, and he's working his way down this fence line. Okay, that's a good sized deer. Here we go. Just hoping he does hop the fence, doesn't keep working the opposite way, just walking the fence line. And then B, if he does hop the fence, it's in a range that he's, I can take a shot. So I'll admit, with how it was, I didn't actually range find anything that way to give me myself landmarks. That was kind of that far out. I arranged some stuff that was, because right in front of me is a little valley, right? Almost like a crevice in the earth, where the deer that I did see, they would take that crevice from a spot I couldn't see on the other side of the fence, and then they would just pop out 40 to 50 yards in some brush by me. So I ranged kind of near there, but not necessarily where he was when I took the shot. It was just I had an eye for him, so it's probably about that yards. Anyway, it was cool. It's the first year I've ever seen Rubb something live.
Yep.
He rubbed a tree for a little bit, which that was awesome. So he rubbed, then he hopped over, and he started taking the trail that Ryan cut out for us to get access to my OG stand, which was great because I didn't lose him in any thick shit at that point in time. I could see him clearly where he was going, give me the chance to draw back my bow and get ready. So then finally, when he was coming up on the crest of the ridge where we're kind of even now, okay, he's about 30-ish yards away. Here we go. First deer ever stopped to take a shot. Usually I try to let him stop naturally, but he was not going to stop at that point in time.
Yep.
And again, I knew he was big. I knew he was going to be he was the biggest buck I was going to shoot, right? He was pretty tall. And so I took the shot, heard the whack. He took off, tail down, everything, right? Like sign of
Dead deer.
Dead deer, right?
Yep.
I did notice, however, that I hit him far back. I said I hit him back. It was not within what you consider like the hard shot, the Boilermaker, nothing like that. So I was able to see him run. He ran down the crevice, like the hill, got into the crevice, and then started running up the other hill, kind of behind my original stand. Well, I didn't notice, but there was another deer down in that crevice, and that deer took off too. And so I saw the 2 deer go, and then up behind the OG stand is all these just thorn bushes, just thick stuff.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I know I hit him, right? I have all that sign, but then like I know it's not necessarily the best sit in the world either.
Yep.
Now comes the hard part for myself and the red coat is you got to wait. You got to sit there and wait.
Yep.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you had me worried, man. Just like
I was worried.
Yeah, it's just some of the. I was like, obviously Jesse Tex says he shot this buck, and
I didn't get on film either. I didn't get it on film. The way the stand is set up is, and we've already talked about getting a new camera set up and things like that. Not only just because of how I have to set it up within the stand. I mean, I have a. You gave me that camera arm. I used that at the pipe stand, but it's not mobile as much as I want. You know what I mean? So there's no shooting rail on the stand. It's just a little bit of the bend where the actual seat part connects to the ladder. So then I'm wrapping my flexible tripod around it and things like that. And then the tripod on top of my camera was loose, and my camera keeps falling. I'm trying to retighten it, and it keeps going. Yeah. And so when he hopped and everything like that, I'm trying to. Oh, and it's not set up for a right-handed shooter. It's set up for a left-handed shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I had my camera also on my right side because that's where I've seen all the deer, right?
Yeah.
So then I want to get my bow ready to shoot. So I grab my bow, put it in my hand. My arrow's already knocked off. And when he's moving, I'm standing up and I'm trying to get my camera going at the same time.
Yep.
But that's when he's getting close to where, okay, he's going to be out of range right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the shot instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't on film, so I couldn't see exactly where I hit at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Gave it an hour, got down, and like in my head, like I'm trying not to hype myself up because I'm like, it is a far back shot. I don't want to sit here and like, oh yeah, here we go, dead deer. Yeah, I'm so pumped, so excited.
Mm-hmm.
So I think even my post-shot interview is like, I know I hit the deer. I don't know if it's a good hit or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get down. I got up there. I'm like, in my head, I'm going to look for blood. I'm going to look for blood. I'm going to find blood. And it's just hair. Just some piles of hair. And not even like, like you shave your head, but just little piles of hair here and here.
Mm-hmm.
And I spend 20 minutes looking for my arrow within where the arrow should be, right? I mean, I went, if the arrow passed through, I went back because there's a little ditch back there by the fence. I went all the way back there looking in that ditch line, just scanning and scanning. I looked right where the deer was hit. I looked past that. I looked everywhere.
Yep.
And I could not find an arrow. And I'm like, maybe I'm just really shitty at finding arrows. To be honest, I've found very few arrows after I've tried.
And I know one thing we talked about, you don't shoot Luminok or Nocturnal. Like a light knock, yeah.
And I want to. That's why we had that conversation is I need to do that. That's just something to help me find my arrows afterwards.
Yep.
Definitely something to invest in. There's a lot I got to do archery wise for next year, but we can get to that. So after that, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm still hunting. Like I'm going to go back in my stand. I want to ruin Ash's hunt.
Yep.
I don't want to ruin anything. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting there, and the whole time I'm just like, probably not the best thing to do. I'm Googling like, okay, hit deer in the back. Everything else is good. What's my chances? And everything comes back, well, you got to find the arrow. You got to find the arrow. I'm like, okay, redo the search. Bad hit. Everything else looked good. Can't find arrow. And everybody's like, well, you gut shot it. This. You could go find that deer. So finally, I was like, all right, I'm going to get down half an hour earlier than what I'm supposed to, from our meetup time. And I'm going to go back and look for the arrow some more, number one. Because if I find an arrow, that's going to tell me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yep.
I couldn't find the damn arrow. And that just kept eating at me. So then I was like, all right, well, here's hair. I followed the trail all the way where the last bit of hair was, and there's just nothing. So I was like, this isn't good. Because the last thing you want to do is walk down that trail and push the deer more.
Correct.
Right.
And I can tell you, I was worried for you because I'm like, okay, I think you get shot this deer. Everything I always told me, let the deer lay overnight. I know you have limited amount of time.
I was going back to Wisconsin that night.
Exactly. So I knew
had
that.
to go back home.
So I knew that. And then I also know you're only on 10 acres. It's not like you have a lot of property to work with. So I'll be honest. Because I went to bed, I was working third shift. I was going to bed. When I went to bed, my confidence was not high.
You were pissed. You were pissed at me.
You were mad. The camera.
I didn't get it on shot. I didn't get it on camera.
Yeah.
It was a bad hit on a deer.
Yeah. That and what there was a comment you made. Like I don't know if the first text like you smoked it or whatever like that, and then you're like, I can't find anything. I'm like, what do you mean you can't find anything?
No, I initially said I hit it back. Yeah. I did say that. I didn't think
maybe that was.
To be honest, I didn't think my up and down was terrible though.
Yeah.
But what it turns out was I was using my 30-yard pin. That's what it estimated at, and it was 35.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well then, yeah, and then obviously there's a reason why you didn't find any blood, which we'll get to.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just said, all right, I'm just gonna walk where he ran and just see what I could find. knowing damn well I may push this deer, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to find a single trace of it. And what everybody else was saying is I just gave it a belly haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, to be honest, at that point in time, I think I would have been fine with just giving it a belly haircut with the limited amount of time I had. But as I'm walking around, walking up, going behind the thick shit and stuff, I'm like, holy shit, there's a white belly. And it's just laying there. And there's a whole bunch of blood around it. And I was like,
Yep.
It was amazing. Like that I found that deer, and it was 30 to 40 yards away from where I shot it.
That's what I was going to ask you. I guess I didn't know how far. So he only ran 30, 40 yards.
Yeah, it was not far. Like,
I guess I realized. I thought you were farther than that.
And then, right up that hill, which would have been probably 20 yards, and then another 15 yards into that.
Dang.
Down.
Dang.
Right.
So when you walked up on him, there was blood everywhere then?
There was, he had a bunch of white blood foam out of his mouth, and there was blood around him. And even when I tried to reverse blood trail him, there wasn't like a whole bunch going off of that either. I did find my spots and kind of found the route he went, but it was not a whole bunch. So what happened was the arrow went in, and then that all got plugged up. So there wasn't any blood. But then by the time that arrow did all of its work, right, because the arrow was still in him, it just did not take long.
Was there an exit hole? Was there an chain exit?
Yeah, the arrow went through him. Yeah. Didn't clean past him, but it went through him.
So like poked out and then got sucked back in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then after that was just pure joy, pure excitement.
You giddy.
Yeah, definitely the oldest deer I've killed, and the biggest buck.
Yep.
He's a 7-pointer. The one I have on the wall here is a 8-pointer, but this guy I think is taller.
Yeah, he's bigger. So Jesse actually dropped him off here. I got old Uncle Coop.
Uncle Coop.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing a European mount for Jesse. But yeah, he was nice. Definitely bigger deer than that one you killed out here. I was super excited for you. Like I said, when I went to bed that morning, I was like, I don't think he's gonna find it. And I was pleasantly surprised when I woke up. I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was so happy. I was so happy to find that deer. Just again, because like everything in my head and in my gut told me like that deer got hit. Like not a graze, not anything like that, but got hit with that arrow.
Where was the entry hole on it when you actually walked up on it?
It was, so if you're looking at, it's like right back leg, I'd say, I don't know.
Like, was it mid body, you think? Or
mid body, yeah. Mid body, low mid body.
So did it come out? Did that exit hole, was it the same spot on the backside, or was it to the rear legs or to the front legs?
It would have been, it was almost straight out.
Straight out, yeah. So I mean, that's a straight up gut shot, obviously. Yeah, that deer was gonna die. I am surprised. I'll be honest. I am surprised it died within an hour or 2 hours or whatever, and it only went 30 or 40 yards.
I bet that if I would have got down immediately and then tried to do what I did at the end there, I would have kicked that deer up. Yeah. But I waited 4 hours, which is not the time you're supposed to wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They say a lot of times 12 hours, but obviously was he stiff already when you walked up on him? Was he? So I mean, he probably died that first hour, would be my guess. Yeah. That's good. What are you shooting, Jesse, for broadhead?
I was using Rage hypodermic, I believe. Hypodermic.
If you're gonna make
I was gonna use for the bear hunt.
If you're gonna make a gut shot, which obviously we don't try to do, but if you're gonna make a gut shot, that's when you want an expandable. I mean, 100%. You want the biggest cutting diameter you can get. So
right.
But so yeah,
it worked out. And then the cool part was I was able to bring him up here for processing. I dropped him off. See, that was Sunday. I dropped him off Monday, and my meat back Wednesday.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I was just about to ask if you got your meat back yet.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, boom, done. Well, it was so my lead cafeteria worker, her husband does it.
Oh, okay.
I just dropped it off at his garage, and he did it real quick. Like, I don't think he has a whole bunch of freezer space to hold deer meat.
Yeah,
so
I gotcha.
Get some, it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, quick turnaround.
I will say it was a little warmer, and so we did the ice and everything like that. But you can definitely tell like there's maybe a little bit more gamier. Yeah.
Well, and gut shot too. Gut shot will do that too. You either got to wash. I mean,
we washed it out. I mean,
yeah, I know. Like, I'll tell a story a different time on the podcast, but I gut shot a doe this year that I found, and the first thing I did when I got her here was wash her out, and I still lost some meat.
Yeah,
not a lot, but I did lose some. I lost a whole rear leg. So it just happens. I mean, is what it is. So, well, anyways, that
was the archery hunt. That was the 2 days in Illinois hunt.
Yep, which is out right now. If you guys want to, I would recommend listening to the rest of this podcast first. But if you want to watch this, vlog 11 on the channel. So I know it's performing pretty well for us. However, the next one's that Jesse's about to talk about is doing even better. But yeah, it was I just kind of find it funny. Jesse, other than the podcast we did in September, he's been relatively quiet than you usually are. But you got a lot of stuff going on. You're in Wisconsin and you haven't figured all that yet out and stuff. But when you came back, you make the most of it. And so it's just funny. You went from, you guys haven't heard much from him, and all of a sudden 2 back-to-back episodes. So like he's back. But anyway, I'll go ahead and let you talk about shotgun season.
So getting ready for shotgun season, one thing that last year during shotgun season. So I guess this goes back. I don't even know. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, probably 3 years ago. Because there was a season there I missed because I was at a work conference. First of all, I've never had very good luck with the shotgun. Okay, the first time was because of a misfire, and that is the reason why I will never use Remington AccuTip ever again. Because at that point in time, I had, which would have been the biggest deer in my life, which still would be the biggest deer in my life, in my scope, 50 yards, pulled the trigger, nothing happens. Pull the hammer back in because I shoot the HR Ultra Slug, single shot, right? Break open action, try hitting the hammer again, nothing. And this deer's still kind of hanging out. So I try to quietly, as I'm in the stand, break this thing open. And then the tail goes, thunk.
I wish you had a GoPro like on you during all that.
And then that deer just takes off.
Yeah.
And that would have been my first time bucking out in Illinois. It would have been the one I got at the least.
Yeah, it was that same year. Yep.
Yeah. And I would have been like one up in that. I'm like, that would have been like my best year ever. But Remington AccuTip, I still want to write them a letter and say, you owe me something.
And they're known for that. I know 3 other guys that's happened to with Remington AccuTip.
Anyway, things that haunt you. That's one of them. Hunting wise, there's that, and there's the unicorn deer. That one haunts me too.
Yep.
But anyway, so about 3 years ago, I go out. I don't think I had an archer. I maybe had a small archery kill, and I'm going out second shotgun season because I was at the conference. I'm out by myself, and it's last light, and I'm using this HR Ultra Slug, and I have 2 deer in front of me. And I'm like, I'm gonna shoot the biggest one. I shoot, nothing happens. They don't, like, no reaction, which I was surprised about in itself. So it gives me a chance to reload. I reload, and I think I hit the first one, So I aim at the second one and hit, and then that one drops. Like, great. Well, the first one takes off, and then there's no blood, nothing like that. That was a clean miss. Well, the second one I hit, I spined it, and that's why it dropped. At that point in time, I told myself it was because of maybe the recoil of it, but also I don't know how this would work to Richard, but this is what I told myself to make me feel better anyway. And that it wasn't just a pansy with recoil, was that the deer was uphill and I was lower. And that doesn't really make sense anymore, right? So I spined, right? Deer down, great. Still had meat. Last year during deer season, we had just the absolute shittiest shotgun season ever.
Yep.
We did not see a deer.
But
and Boom and all those guys should have texted us like, "Oh, we've seen this, we've seen this."
I've seen deer everywhere. Yeah.
And we were like, my toes are frozen. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Which rubbing in their face.
But to be fair, you guys probably had the best as a team archery season that you had before that. Yeah.
Because I think
killed 4.
We got 4 deer total off of that.
Yeah, that's off of 10 acres, 4 deer. It's a lot of deer.
2 of them on the same day.
Yeah. So like
Ryan had his opening day doe. I had my next weekend doe, and then the same day.
Yeah. So that's why when you guys say that, I'm like, it doesn't surprise me, boys.
No, I get it. I know why.
Yeah.
But it's also like frustrating. You know, in the moment it's frustrating.
Yep.
But we saw 1 deer, and by we, I mean I saw 1 deer. Actually in the same stand I killed my shotgun deer this season. They kind of took the same path too. And I lined it up and I shot and nothing. Clean miss again and shot over it. Like, what in the hell, man? Like, I'm not the world's greatest shot by any means, but I'm not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I made it a point, like, all right, I'll get back out to a range again this year before shotgun season. So I literally take a half a vacation day to go to a range up here to sight in my shotgun, right? Just to make sure I'm good to go. And I was going to start at the 50 yard and I was going to go to the 100 yard. I was like, I'll take like 3 shots at 50, get it dialed in there, then go to 100 and take another 3 shots, get it dialed in and be done. That was the plan. So I send my first shot down range and I'm high and to the left. So I make the adjustments on the scope. Send my second shot down range and it's creeping back. It's like, okay, cool. So I'll just keep making it again. Third shot, and mind you, I'm using a rest, right? Like it's not just me holding it and like doing this. I'm literally using a rest, doing this and everything. Well, after I make literally the same adjustments I just did where I'm creeping back in, I'm back and high to the left. I'm like, what in the absolute hell is going on? So then I send a 4th shot down and it goes high and to the right this time. I didn't change anything. I haven't changed a single thing yet. I was like, okay. So I try to make a little bit more adjustments. I send my 5th shot down. Nothing. And so at this point in time, they close the range. I'm looking at my target. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Put my stickers on, you know. Okay, I'm going to try it. Just blank slate. Here we go. I send like another 4 shells down this thing. And it's not getting anywhere close to where it needs to be. And so this would be 3, 4, 10 shots of my 12 gauge 3-inch slugs going down.
Yep.
I noticed that like my scope's picture just all of a sudden got smaller. I was like, well, that's not right. Like I didn't adjust zoom, nothing. Like, I didn't just aim with the lens. What the hell's going on? So all right, I'll see another one down, and then all of a sudden it goes wonk. I'm like, what in the hell? And I look back, the lens in my scope is rotated on its axis to where I'm just seeing the edge of the glass now. And I'm like, oh God.
Yep.
And so then I'm like trying to think of everything I can do for it. So I push it back in, I tighten down the zooming, something like that. You'll just keep it in. I send another one down. Okay, that kind of where I wanted to go. And I sent another one down and did it again. So essentially I sent 13 slugs down in a matter of 20 minutes range. A hoping I didn't have a problem. I was, and I had a problem. The scope was broken, right?
I ain't fixing
I went to the
that.
range master. I said, "Hey, is there any way to fix this? Like, I'm going deer hunting in 4 days, right? Like, is there any way to fix this?" And he goes, "Nope, but we sell Vortex in the shop there. If you want to get." I was like, "Oh, do you? Yeah, no, I'm okay with that." So at that point in time, I was like, "Well, there goes shotgun, like, because this doesn't have iron sights on it. That's not doing it." But then looking up, I don't know when Illinois changed. I even asked Boom about it that day. I was planning on taking my bow down.
They changed that a few years ago. So you can, here in Illinois, if you have a shotgun permit like Jesse did, you can archery hunt on that shotgun permit. A few years ago, you weren't able to do so. It was dumb. Like, if people want to make it harder on themselves, they should be allowed to.
Right.
And but they changed it like 2 or 3 years ago now. But
then I even went down the rabbit hole of they now opened up like the single shot rifle cartridges. I was like, well, I had an AR, but
it's gotta be a straight wall cartridge, and
mine are not. So I have a 30-06. Can't do that either. So
I wish we could, but no.
Yeah. So I went down. I was like, God damn it, because I love bow hunting. I really do. I just know that like this is my last shotgun hunt in Illinois. Like I would really like to take a shotgun. So then finally I was like, you know what? Screw it. I took the red dot off of one of my guns, put it on my slug, went to the Fleet farm up here, not Farm and Fleet farm, and got it bore sighted. Bore sighted out to 100 and said, here we go. Yeah. And so, and all I could think about was that one time with my old shotgun, I had it bore sighted at Bass Pro Shop. I dropped it off. They bore sighted it for me. And then we went down to Booms just to get it on, like, make sure it was really sighted. And we weren't even on paper.
No.
And at first, him and Ryan are giving me such shit, saying it was such a bad shot.
we were.
You do it then. And so this Boom shoots, and it's nowhere near it. And he goes, well, there's something wrong with the scope. I go, what do you think I've been telling you this whole time?
I want to know what they did, because when I used to work at Farm King, and I bore sighted guns all the time, and I would ask people to come back in, and I'd be like, hey, was that pretty close? And most of the time they're like, I didn't have to touch it. Every now and then, like, I just had to make a couple minor adjustments. And I bore sighted some of my own guns, and I was always kind of the same thing. Like, maybe sometimes just a little tweak here or there. But yeah,
I think what they did, they just pointed at the wall and aimed it up and said, there it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't take it out to a distance. But so that's playing through my head, like, okay. The good news about that is if they do what Bass Pro did at that point in time, which I'm not knocking Bass Pro, by the way. I still enjoy going to Bass Pro and shopping. I just had that one particular bad experience there. If they did that, at least I'll clean miss the deer, right? I won't even hit it. Or I'll be on. And so that's what I'm walking out to. And for shotgun season, I literally have 1 day, like not even necessarily a whole. I would have been able to hunt the whole day if I didn't get a deer in the morning. But
I remember thinking you are crazy, because would have been Friday night when you dropped off. Yeah, Friday night.
Friday night we went down and stayed with my mom in Macomb.
Yeah, so Friday night
he
stopped at my house. You stopped though. You were at my house. What, 8 o'clock at night?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. He shows up at my house, and he's still got more driving to do. And
with two kids in the back.
I'm like, you nuts, bud. Which, by the way, I have your cooler. Whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
hey, but I mean, when you got to go out, you got limited chance. You go out. It doesn't matter. You got to go. We went to Mom's, stayed that night, and then I woke up, asked Crack of Dawn to drive to Mercer County from Macomb. Got there
about 2 hours.
Yeah. Woke up the red coat, game planned, and then we went out. I sat in that big ultra mega stand that he has out there. That's so comfy.
It's
So comfy.
pretty comfy.
Luckily, there was deer moving. Otherwise, I probably would have fallen asleep.
Which, not only was there deer moving, you got a good one on camera.
Yeah.
That was a real
Right?
good buck.
Walk across that field. I know. And that one I tried doing a little calling, but he was just way too far.
No. Too bad you're not in that tower stand in that guy's field.
There were people in that tower stand too.
There was, huh?
Yes, but they didn't shoot. And I don't think he was close enough to them either.
Okay, so I'm like, I would have shot him.
I would have, yeah.
Wouldn't even think twice about it.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kept me entertained all morning. So the way this stand faces, we're on a little field that's in front of us, but then again, there's that back fence line, and we call it Big Dick Land because it's a lot of acreage.
Yeah.
I mean, they have enough to put a tower blind on one part here, then another tower blind where you could see it, and you could just tell like lots of woods, but also lots of fields, and just lots of opportunity there. Well, deer are crossing these fields all morning. That's the first time I saw it finally chasing this year. Saw a doe go across. Got really excited. It was like, oh, here we go. Deer moving. Awesome. Then I saw like a little forky chasing her. And then I saw the big guy go across afterwards too. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes later, here goes that doe running. And then here goes the big boy running. And then that forky about 3 minutes later comes chasing. I'm like, good luck, buddy. You have no chance.
Yeah. I gotta kick your ass.
Yeah. But they were kind of going to where we had somebody set up, and I was like, hey, just be ready. If they hop that fence, it's game time. But after all that excitement, I didn't really see anything there for a while. And then I finally saw, which very bad, poor camera work. You guys may see this on this vlog. Very, very bad, poor camera work. Anyway, I see this deer, the one I shot, coming. It's the first one that actually was walking towards this property that we hunt on from that land. And I hopped the fence, right? Now, I got a little nervous there for a while because when he goes back in the woods and I lose him, right, as you saw with my absolute horrendous camera work, I was like, well, he's going to go back behind me in this, what we call the top of Uncharted, which I'm not going to see. I'm not going to have a shot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or my other thought was he's going to walk the tree line that's right in front of me and I'm going to have a very close shot. Yeah. Well, he split the difference. And I just lost him in the woods. Picked him back up again. He was kind of making the beeline to where I think what he was going to do was walk behind the stand and then kind of keep going down what we call the cow hill and make his way towards that side of the property. Luckily, I caught him in time and then got the camera ready, was ready to go. Was not a center view. Like
he almost walked off it. He almost walked off it.
Yeah. Stopped him just
when you went back and watched it afterwards, were you like, whoo? Like,
yes, very much. I was like, oh, don't go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at that point in time, all I thought about was like, red dot, don't fail me now. Like, I mean, this deer was in the same exact spot where I missed that one last year and shot over it.
How far do you think?
It was 48.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, 38. Sorry. It was closer than that. Put it right on the money, pulled the trigger. Deer decided to do like a little backflip.
It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, it was like, that's the first time I've ever seen a deer flop like that, number one. But then as you see from the video, it laid there for a decent amount of time. And I was like, it's just down right there, like done.
I thought when I was editing it, I thought that at first. I'm like, oh, he's dead right there.
Yeah.
And then,
No, and then the deer just hops up and runs. I was like, oh, okay, not done. Not done at all. So then I was super giddy. Like that one I knew. That one was a good hit. I did the flop. Like that was cool. Cool as hell to see.
That was, like I said, I was surprised he got up.
Yeah. And then you hear a bunch of gunshots going off over here, and you get so excited about that. Like a lot of gunshots going off over there.
I heard. I heard. I was cracking up when Ryan was telling me that story.
Yeah. And then, well, the funny thing is that deer I shot, it triggered one of Ryan's cameras.
Yeah.
And so then I didn't know this because I'm watching this deer. He texts me. He texts the group and he goes, "Oh, there's a button," because the way it was with the sun, you couldn't see the antlers on it. You could tell it was a buck, but you couldn't see the antlers on it. So he thought it was a button buck. He goes, "Oh, Jesse, hope you don't have your head in your phone. There's a button buck coming for you." And he goes, and he heard the shot. He goes, "Guess you took it."
Yeah.
So when I showed him the deer, guy goes, "Wait a minute, that's the same deer." I go, "Yeah, that's the same deer." But no, it was cool because I walked up on it and it was another 7-pointer.
Yeah, how far did he run? He didn't run very far, did he?
No, 20 yards.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I didn't find I found blood, but like not a whole bunch. So then I just walked to where I knew he ran to, and he was there.
Yeah.
So then the fun process began. Got that all cleaned up and ended up going to the Festival Lights Parade East Peoria that night. And
there you go.
So I think total in Illinois spent, I don't know, would you say, let's say, I don't know.
I mean, less than a week, obviously. You got like
6 to 6 one day. I say 12 hours a day or whatever. So, so my archery buck would have been 14 hours in the woods. And then the shotgun was 4.
Yeah.
So 18 hours.
Yeah.
First time bucking out in Illinois.
Yeah. I think it was just Illinois' farewell to you. Like
it was.
Yeah. It's like
I put a lot of work into that place.
Yeah.
And it felt good.
Yeah, no, I mean you have. Yeah, you guys that's what you guys did have over the years put in a lot of work and you know, it worked out well. I was happy because I mean, to be honest with you, and I think you were thinking the same thing. You know, after your hunts in September, we didn't know. Like, we knew you were going to try to get some content for the channel, but you can try all you want. If the deer don't cooperate, they don't cooperate. Like,
it's nothing, right? Yeah,
yeah.
And it definitely gave me a lot, even with just the deer I saw. Right, especially shotgun season. I think was my best opportunity to do camera work without any obstruction. Like, they were just running across the field. I was able to get in on them at that point in time.
Well, I think besides myself and Matt Rave, you probably have the 3rd biggest buck on camera. I don't think anybody else has gotten other than Rave and I. Colton got a decent buck on camera, but yours is bigger. So when it comes to just having big buck footage,
did you see when he had that part of that field stuck to his antler?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I know. Cool.
Yeah,
it was like the same time you took me out to your property and we were bow hunting.
Yeah,
and the big old deer was across the road, and I was like, "Come here!
Yep,
come this way!"
Yep. I forgot about that. Yep. Yeah, no, that was a good buck. I don't know. Maybe you had told me, and I just didn't see it or forgot. I didn't realize you saw that buck that day. So, and when I was editing, I'm like, holy shit! Like, that's a good buck. But,
never across that fence line.
Yeah,
I was hoping, man, that would have been cool. I mean, I'm happy with what I got. Like,
again,
but
yeah. But you would have been like calling your wife like, I know I got one deer at the tax service. I understand that.
Yes.
But
But let me just explain this to you.
Yeah.
So one of the other coolest things about this was I was able to FaceTime my boys because they're really, every time I go out, and like if I don't bring them out with me, you know what I mean, they get really excited about how it goes. And so this is the first couple times I'm able to FaceTime them and show them like where the deer's falling and all that stuff, and just right away. And they get so pumped. They're so excited. Yeah. They're like, can't wait to see it. And
I'm excited for you. Especially when they become the triggermen and you start getting them into it even more. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be amazing. And they love it.
Yeah. That's one thing you have to look into. I have no idea. I wonder what non-resident, just youth season. Like, I don't know. I feel like it has to be cheaper, but I don't know.
It's just I was looking at the date. It's expensive. It's very expensive.
Gotcha.
to be not a resident and go hunting in Illinois,
Yeah.
which I get.
Which though, honestly, man, if we plan ahead, like once like Marshall gets old enough and he's the trigger man, we take him on that hog hunt with us.
Yes.
Just have at it, bud.
That might be just as cost effective as going to Illinois deer hunting.
Yeah, but you're gonna the meat
He's
you're
gonna have
about to
so
bring.
much more fun. You
Yeah.
know you're gonna get something there.
Oh yeah, it's
So,
nuts.
I applied for my Wisconsin spring turkey
There you go.
this weekend so, to get out and try to do that. I think there's some hunters in the area that I know who are big deer hunters. I don't know if they're big turkey hunters or not.
Mm-hmm.
Who have land, I might ask.
So maybe you
I
can just
know
get access for turkey.
Yeah, just say like I'm not going to mess up any deer wise, but just turkey. There's the public access land that you could also turkey hunt on.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of our other uncle-in-laws does go turkey hunting in the area too. Ryan's been up there a couple of times.
Yep.
Reach out to him just to try to get a Wisconsin bird down.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Great
and you're done now for deer season, right?
Yeah, my freezer's full. I am
good problem.
packed.
Good problem to have.
Very good problem.
Yep.
Like this week, I did a little meal prepping. We had venison steaks Sunday night, and I just cooked enough for my lunches this week. So
Can't beat that. That's what I'm on third shift left right now, so I'm gonna be up for a while still. But like I'm about to eat after this, and we got from my 22 buck, we got a backstrap that we cooked in a cream of mushroom all day. So that's what I'm about to dive into here when we get off here. And I'm hungry. I went to because of hunting season, I took a 2-month hiatus from jiu-jitsu. I went to jiu-jitsu tonight, and I'm tired and hungry.
Yes.
So
no, I can't wait to make. I usually make it's like this port wine mushroom reduction sauce.
Okay.
And it's just so good. Putting it over. We used to do beef tenderloin, right? You'd oven roasted beef tenderloin, whole tenderloin, and slice it up. And I'm gonna do some backstrap with that around the holidays this year. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, it's fantastic. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, that was my deer season. It's still Illinois, but less than 24 hours. I spent more time than that in the woods, but yeah.
Yep. That was good. And I was happy to get like one final Illinois brother-in-law weekend and stuff. So
yeah, we did. Ryan and I sat together archery season. After I already shot the buck, him and I went and stand together, and that was fun. Yeah, just to have that time again. It's always fun. Yep. Always fun. Yep. We're planning maybe a coyote hunt here or there.
Yep. I knew that. Which speaking of that, I had a little action today.
Your pictures didn't come through.
Oh, really? They didn't? On that
Not on my phone. I was at school and I was checking. I will look now.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll give an update here. So I'm gonna be deer hunting plenty still for 2023 and going into 2020. Huh? I wonder why. Yeah, I'll have to send them to you.
Taking it off.
So, but anyway, so I'll be doing some deer hunting, and I plan to do some predator hunting. Well, so you guys may or may not know, I got chickens and goats and all kinds of animals running around my house, and we've noticed my chicken population has been dwindling. We had 18 chickens at one time. I'm down to 5.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, so we don't know. We didn't know if it was coyotes, bobcats, or raccoons. Which I've been ever since moving out here. I've been hard on the raccoon population, but it seems like I never put a dent in them. I've killed over 100 raccoons since moving out here, and it's just I gotta keep trying to thin the population. But anyway, this morning. Losing. There you go. I'm back. So anyway, this morning, I get home from third shift, go jump in the shower. My wife takes the kids. My daughter has school this morning. My wife leaves, and Alicia said the cat came running in, like hauling in this morning. And we let our cat inside every now and then. But like just the way she ran in, she kind of thought, oh, that's kind of weird. But like, I'll let her out when I come home. So I get out of the shower. and I see the cat's out in my house. I'm like, I don't want to put the cat out. So anyway, I grab the cat and I throw her out, and the cat was not wanting to go outside, which usually she goes outside no problem. Like, that's
No
fucking
problem.
weird. Yeah. So I shut the door and I kind of I'm looking through my screen door and I'm like, what is that? About the field edge is about 50 yards, 60 yards from my back porch, and going into the field another 10 yards, I see something, and I'm like, what is that? Looking, it's laying down. All of a sudden, I see the ear twitch, and I'm like, oh, it's a damn coyote. And so like when I kill a deer, or even when I go coyote hunting or something like that, like I'm not angry at these animals. Like I just, like I enjoy it. Whether it's meat or predator control. I was pissed. I was pissed off this morning. When I saw him, I'm like, instantly in my head, I'm like, this motherfucker trying to eat my chickens. So I go, I
Coming on my land on this day? No, sir.
I was angry. And because I knew we were having predator issues, I've been keeping my AR in my bedroom. So I run, load it up real quick, set the red dot, and I'm looking through the window. I can see him. He's just sitting there dead on, just staring at my goats and chickens. And the goats and chickens are in his pen, and they're looking that way too. They know it's there. And he's just sitting there, just stare on, not even looking towards the house or anything. So I get the red dot on. Anyway, I peek out the house, and it turns to face me, pow, drops it. And again, normally, like we shoot a deer, you're pumping. I shoot, he falls, I go, that's what you get, motherfucker. like I was angry. I was angry this morning.
That's what you get.
Oh, I was mad. I was like, don't mess with my livestock. And I afterwards when I get it all, it's a real pretty coyote, big male coyote.
Yeah,
I'm gonna end up skinning them and stuff. But like afterward, when it was all settled down, and I dragged his body where I wanted it, and I'm like, man, that was unlike me. I was angry at that animal.
I need to pause a minute here.
Yeah,
it's just a self-reflection.
Yeah, like whoo. But yeah, that was my latest action. Good shot though. Shot him right in the chest. Dropped him all the way. So I was happy with my shooting. It's about I ranged it. It was about 70 yards. So yeah. So it was a good redemption after I did miss a doe this shotgun season. So it was a good redemption for me.
You had to get yourself back on track.
Exactly. Here. Yeah. So good to go now.
You gonna go out anymore? Deer hunting,
yes.
By the way?
Yep. So I went out last week. Went out twice. Because we got a whole field filled with winter wheat right now, and I knew the deer were hitting it. But they're not hitting it every day. And one day I had them about 60, 70 yards, it's out of bow range. And then I went back the next night, or might have been 2 nights after, and I actually was able to hunt a tree stand because I was hunting on the ground the night because the wind was different. And I didn't see anything that day. But then, yeah, so I'll be watching the trail cameras and see what they're doing. At minimum, I'll probably do a little bow hunting still. At minimum, I'll go out. We got 2 late season doe shotgun firearm seasons coming up. One's the weekend after Christmas, and one's the last weekend in January. I'll for sure hit those 2 weekends. I would like to get at least one more deer down. And then you guys are gonna see me do some predator hunting. I know Ryan's talked about coming down. And then I bought everything. I'm going to try this calling raccoons. It looks fun. So hopefully you guys see that. Fun. Yeah, it looks fun.
The video Uncle Coop posted the other day looks really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The Asian card.
Yep. That would be fun too. In Illinois, highly illegal because I already looked it up too. Because it would be fun. It would be a blast. And then we were talking about. Then you talk about, okay, you do that, and then you go catfish it because you're just chumming. You're chumming right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're feeling that blood. You feeling that water with all that blood. Like you probably catch all the catfish.
That'll be rare to go.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be so much fun.
Mm-hmm. So
I'll look up Wisconsin law.
Yeah, there we go. I'll come up and visit you. And then, if we get some ice, you guys might see an ice fishing episode here. It's not looking good right now. So and maybe you might see some waterfowl. I took Remy duck hunting one day. We hardly saw any, but it was a bluebird sky day, so but it is what it is. But yeah, you guys will be seeing stuff come from the channel. We got some plans for 2024. We're gonna try to keep this podcast now going, guys. I know I struggle with it sometimes. I think Jesse, Ryan, and everybody's gonna help a little bit more with it too. We've figured out this new streaming thing on this new platform. I think that's gonna go well. So I think you guys will be seeing more of this podcast, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the content we're putting out. I'm very happy with this deer season as a team wise, and I think we're just gonna keep going up from there. But Jesse, to finish off this podcast, you got anything else to ended on?
Just super elated how the season went for me, with the limited amount of time and the move and things like that. Already got my sights set for next year. Again, trying to hit the pavement, get some access to some private land. We're renting right now, so I still don't know where we're going to live. We have a couple spots in mind towns.
Yep.
But within the radius, it'll be pretty close. So trying to hit the pavement, get some access to private land. But simultaneously scouting that public access. That way I have that, right? Yeah. Just goals, right? I think I said it to myself the other day. You're watching all these videos like everybody does who's a hunter of these other people hunting and like things like that. And, I guess I'm finally to the point now where I will shoot a doe, but I want to go bigger. I want to go older. Like I shot a young deer shotgun season.
Yeah.
The buck kill is an older deer, but that's because I had like we said, limited amount of time. But now if I can find a spot and I can have a season and put the time in on the woods, I can be more pickier.
Yep.
I think that's what I want to do now.
Yep.
Past that stage, and so that's kind of my next goal. But it's all got to start with finding a spot to do that up here.
Yep. I think you will.
My bow in tuned. I get new strings on it.
Which actually, one last thing I want to end this on for you. How'd you like your new hot shot release, Jesse?
It did its job.
Yep.
And now it is somewhere in the woods. And so I know we're going to a couple shows, and I will seek out the hot shot guys and get a new one.
And I plan on doing a podcast about this later on, or a video at least. But Jesse and I switched releases this year. We both went to thumb style. I went with the hot shot Ember. Do you remember what you went with? What was
the basic one? Whatever the basic one was.
Yeah. And we both were saying good things about it, and we were happy with it. And they're not a sponsor. Yeah, they're not a sponsor or anything. But we met those guys and really just hit it off with them at the Illinois deer show. And I remember saying something to Jesse afterwards, like, "Hey, did you like that release?" And then he proceeded to tell me.
Literally every time I would get down and like done hunting or like anything like that, done shooting, I'd put it in my bag, right in the top pocket, zip it up, done. After I got the deer, done. Like that was it, right? I didn't put it in the pocket. And then between, like, I'm 95% sure I still had it after dragging that deer out to a spot where we get it to the wheeler. Then I think when I put my bow on the wheeler to ride out, that's when I lost it. Because I didn't take it put in the pocket. So the one nice thing about having the traditional release is it's attached to your wrist.
Correct.
It's going to be very hard to lose.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
It's got that perk for it. Yeah. Okay.
I got a good hunting weekend out of it, and then that's it.
Yep.
So, but it was nice. I do plan on getting another one because that was fantastic. I do plan on upgrading my camera as well.
Yeah, we talked about that. I know. Yep.
Yeah. Going to more of the action camera, GoPro, not the cheap Amazon version I had at one time in my life. And then, just like I said, trying to get access up here. And that way I can start focusing on up here more and try to get out for a rifle season, a rifle hunt.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So essentially for 2024, guys, we'll be doing some videos throughout the year, kind of updating Jesse on Jesse's new Wisconsin journey. So you guys will see more of him. And then obviously As of right now, we plan on being at the Iowa Deer Classic and the Illinois Deer Classic, and Jesse plans on being at the Illinois one as long as everything goes well. So if you guys want to see Jesse in person, talk to him. He'll be at the Illinois Deer Classic, which I think it's the second weekend in March. Yep,
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think it's the second weekend of March. But like I said, we plan on being at the Iowa one. If you want to come see me, and then we'll have some more shows throughout the year as well. So appreciate all the support, guys. I had one last shout out, and then we'll end it. Whole bunch of you guys have ordered. We had our biggest week of orders last week. All those orders are sent out today as we record this, which is the 13th. So hopefully you guys get it. It's 2-day shipping. Hopefully you guys get it. Appreciate all the support, guys. By far, that's our best week of online sales that we've had so far.
Get the merch, guys. That original logo is back.
Yeah. And then we got some new logos with red coat and redneck. So definitely check that out too, guys. And we're gonna have more hats in the future. Probably redneck and red coat will probably have their own hat. And then we'll just check it out, guys. Appreciate all the support, and we'll go ahead and end this podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff.